How's it going, guys? It's Nathan from Nathan's DIY Garage, and today I'm going to clarify just a few things on the CCV delete. Now this is going to be for the M52tu and M54 double vandals engines only. So what I want to clarify here, there's two different ways you go about it. The original CCV valve likes to rupture. The original CCV valve, if you follow this line down from your valve cover, it sits right under here. You cannot see it. This car already has it deleted, and it has a tube coming from the dipstick tube. It comes up and goes to it, and that's the oil return line. And up here under this cover right here, you can see it's kind of like a vacuum log is what I like to call it. And the CCV valve has a hose that goes from it and goes down there, and that pulls vacuum on the CCV. And then it has a rubber diaphragm. So what happens, as a lot of you guys know, the rubber diaphragm in the CCV likes to rupture. Okay, so just to clarify a little more, this is an old CCV I had laying around, and how this works is it goes in here. This hose, let's see if I can set it down where you can see it. This hose goes to the valve cover. This hose is the vacuum line, and this hose lets the old oil drain down into the dipstick tube. And then in here sets this guy, which is rubber diaphragm. So this thing likes to get ripped. So lately, what's been going on, people have been calling me and they said, I just replaced the CCV. This thing with the hoses, with everything, is $70 to $100. And they're putting them in, and the brand new CCV valves are bad, or when they put them in, they snap it in half right there. And therefore you have a vacuum leak, your car is burning oil, and all that kind of stuff. So there's two different fixes for it, and I did videos on this in the past, but I figured I'd kind of make a video all together to better explain what's going on here. So if you blow the CCV valve, your car is going to smoke blue. It's going to smoke oil really bad. Or it could just have a vacuum leak and not smoke at all. So if you're getting lean codes, chances are one of these hoses ripped, or the diaphragm is actually ripped, and that's what's causing the code. If you went in and checked out your throttle body, you checked out everything else is good, that's more than likely what the problem is. So for the time being, you could just snip that hose, and if you're just going to run without the CCV, you need to leave this hose open. You need to leave the hose going to the oil dipstick tube, which is down there. You need to leave that open to vent, and your line up here that goes up to the vacuum log, you need to plug that off, obviously, because it's vacuum, right? So that's the CCV valve delete. Now the oil catch can, when you run that just has a vacuum line that goes from here and runs up to your little catch can. I did a video a few weeks ago on that, and another line runs out of the catch can to go to the other side. It goes down to the intake for vacuum, and it pulls vacuum from the valve cover through the catch can. All the oil falls in the catch can, and then the vacuum line goes back into the intake and just puts clean air back in the intake instead of all the oil and condensation and water. So that being said, if you cut the hoses off of this and leave it vented open, it is going to smell like oil when you come to a stop sign, because there's going to be some vapor coming off of this guy. Also, one thing to remember, whenever you're on the catch can, you're not going to use the dipstick tube, the drain. So the drain that goes in the bottom of the tube needs to be capped off with the catch can only. Now, if you're not running the catch can, you just do the delete, then you leave it open. There's a little bit of confusion going on with you guys that are installing the catch can, and you have a bad vacuum leak, and you have that tube hanging open on the dipstick, and that's what the problem is. Okay, and just to further clarify, this is a M54 running the catch can. So we have the line coming from here going over to the valve cover, right? The other line goes to the vacuum on the back of the intake, and this oil dipstick tube is plugged off. It has to be plugged off with that catch can. So that's pretty much it, guys. Hopefully this clarifies some stuff for you, and allows a lot of you guys to do this delete or mod yourself without any problems or questions.